Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth, aka Poetry in Motion, and welcome back to my midweek roundup, a video series where every Wednesday I talk about the last week's chapter of the Clan Jarin series, read your comments, and answer your questions. It's been a long week since our last update. It's been a long week and it's been a tough week. And honestly, I was considering not posting at all this week because I wanted to focus on the work that's going on in the protests and in the streets. But then I realized something. I realized that everyone has a unique part to play. We're not all in the streets. Some of us can't be, I know I can't because my family's health is too risky. But we can still do the work while we're home. We can donate to causes linked to Black Lives Matter. We can amplify the voices of our Black siblings. I myself am going to donate to my area's local bail funds. But there's something else that I can do, and that is write. The work is vital, and I am so proud of everyone who's doing it loudly, publicly, proudly. But you can't pour from an empty cup. And when people need a break from all the madness, when people need that escape from reality and how awful and tough and terrible it is, they turn to fiction. They turn to poetry. They turn to art. And I hope that in some small way, my writing can serve as a means of escape, as a means to recharge yourself for the work ahead. I hope that my work as a writer can serve as sort of a emotional or mental refueling station, a place to take a breath. So I'll keep writing if you keep reading. Please, though, donate where you can. I'm going to link a video in the description that will enable you to donate even if you don't have money. The video has a ton of ads on it, and as long as you let the ads play, all that ad revenue goes to various charities supporting the protests. Educate yourself. Don't ask your friends to educate you for you. And please, help the cause in any way you can. Whew, that was a tough way to start, but it was necessary, I think, and I hope that you all agree. So how about let's read some comments now? So since I posted more this week, I might not read everybody's comments in this video, but I do make it a point to reply to everybody's comments on AO3, so I'm not leaving you out. I promise I read all of your comments and I do my best to reply to all of them, so I do my best. This week I posted 2 one-shots, Seeds on Saturday and Safety yesterday. So let's look at the comments on Seeds first. Alright, so we've got Kit1 commented, "This was so fluffy and sweet, loved the flowers, I felt that I could smell them and taste them." And Azurtyrobaz, yeah, there we go, Azurtyrobaz commented, "This was such a sweet chapter, thank you for sharing. I don't know much about flowers, but it made me want to get some for my apartment." First of all, Azurtyrobaz, do it. I am a plant mom myself. I've got my little herb garden. I'll probably post a pic of that on my Tumblr, link in the description. But it is such a rewarding experience to watch a plant grow and to know that it is because you kept it alive successfully, I would maybe start with a succulent because you said that you don't know a whole lot about flowers, so I'd maybe start with a succulent, but my sister has been growing African violets on the windowsill for a couple of years now, and it's the same plant and they're still thriving, so I think that would also be a cool way to go, but I totally encourage you, get yourself some flowers. So flowers were a huge inspiration for this chapter, obviously. My family and I had done some gardening last weekend, and it was a really invigorating and really inspiring experience. I tend to draw my inspiration from the world around me. That's where all of my best work comes from, that's where all my best researched work comes from, and Calico, or Calico321, comments on that too. Quote, "I love when authors bring their real-world strengths and interests into the story. Gives it a bit of authenticity." And I really felt like I wasn't just inserting my own experience into it, It wasn't, oh, I know about flowers, so let's talk about flowers, It felt like it would fit with Omera's character, that she would know a lot about flowers, that she would know a lot about their meanings and about, how one uses them. You know, it made sense to me because she lives in this kind of agrarian agricultural society. So I was like, we'll just incorporate it into her character and make a whole one-shot around it. It'll be great. The rest of Calico's comment reads, adorable Din giving up a prized possession to make Omera happy. Lol at the description of the blood orchids. I hope she gets her garden someday. So those 3 points seem to have stood out to everybody else too from looking at the comments. For example, Nikki Bogwater gave me some razzing about the blood orchids in her comment, and look, Omera knows how to talk to Din, okay? She probably would have said what she said a little more tactfully, I guess, if she weren't talking to Din, if she were talking to somebody else. But by this point, it's about a month after they've left Sorgan, and Omera has adapted to how Din talks and how Din understands things. So she would be a little bit more direct because Din responds best to direct talk. You know, he doesn't do the whole gentle words kind of thing, which is kind of why he's a little more awkward in romantic situations, but that's another topic. As to Din giving up one of his guns, which was also commented on by RPCV Liz, that was always something that I've wanted to explore. You know, when you're in a relationship, you know how you sometimes buy your significant other flowers. I really wanted to see what that would look like for Din to engage in a sort of typically romantic behavior, you know? To him, even though Omera says, oh, it's fine, you know, when she can't, you know, afford the flame lily bulb, she's like, oh, it's fine. And it is, but he knows that those flame lilies aren't just something for vanity. They're not just something that she wants because, oh, they're rare and I want them. They're steeped in memory, in feeling, and in loss because her home planet no longer exists. And to him, giving Omera that happiness is more important than, you know, one of his favorite antique guns. I mean, he knows he has a ton of other guns, but seeing Omera's face is a lot better than, you know, collecting them or shooting any of them. And someday, those flame lilies will be the centerpiece for a garden. It'll be a while coming because I have actually planned a 3-book arc for this. So there will be a book after Sanctuary, but it'll happen. It'll get there, I promise. Let's see. Paperfire says, this was so cute with 2 heart emojis. Thank you so much. I aim to please. Alright. Here we go, folks. Alright, you guys ready? It's the Sheena key smash. Let's go. Let's do this. Are you ready? Jafak bedoffen kidde cooks begilligan nfikden. That's actually okay. I'm gonna show my English major brain right here, right now. That's actually really interesting because English used to be a language where you could put, you know, an H and a W next to each other in that order and it would make sense. You know, it used to be kind of this sort of language, but it grew out of it as more influences came in from the French, from the Anglo-Saxons, from Latin, and it all mushed together. So, English major fun fact. Anyway, Sheena, let's see what else you have to say. And yes, I will continue to do the key smashes because watching you try to pronounce that shit gave me life. And reading your comments gives me life. They're always just so enthusiastic. I love them. This one was so sweet. I love how affectionate Din's gotten with her in public. It shows real growth, and I'm proud of him. Me too, Sheena. Me too. At this point in the journey on, like I said, it's been a month since Clan Jaren left Sorgan, and Din is slowly starting to come out of his shell. You know, it's a slow process, like I hinted at in the sleeping arrangements dyad. It's gonna be a slower process, but in this one shot, he's getting there. You know, he's starting to open up, and it's starting to become more obvious in public, and it's really rewarding for me to write, and we'll be seeing more of that in this week's one shot, as well as in Sanctuary, which, by the way, I started writing chapter 1 yesterday. Oh, it's so exciting, and I can't wait to give you guys a sneak peek, so keep your eyes open for that. So, with that being said, how about we shift it over to safety? This was actually inspired by a question that Nikki Bogwater asked over on Tumblr, asking whether there was going to be any more Din and Winta focused content, because some of the moments toward the end of In the Aftermath really melted her heart. Her words, not mine. And as I read that question, I kid you not, my muse walked up behind me and just whacked me over the head with a frying pan of inspiration. She was like, hey, you know what would be great? Right. And before I knew it, safety was drafted on paper and ready to be edited. But I had already planned the one shot for Saturday, and it wasn't safety. So I decided to post an extra for you guys, and y'all seem to enjoy it. For example, after reading what she inspired, Nikki Bogwater commented, and I quote, I just give me a second. And then she gives the direction to scream into a pillow, so I'm going to reenact that. I just give me a second. And yes, it's a sock monkey. It's one of my favorites. And then in all caps, Din is such a good dad, and he'd be so cute with a little girl to pamper and protect, and this just hit me in all the right feels, and I think it's going to take me a while to feel calm, so nobody look at me, I'm a mess right now. There's nothing more rewarding for a writer than watching somebody have that kind of visceral reaction to your work. Even though I didn't, actually watch you have that reaction to your work. The fact that you told me you had that, made my day. Thank you so much. I am so glad it was satisfactory. So, I think that just as important as Din and Omera's relationship is, Omera and Baby Yoda's relationship and Din and Winta's relationships are equally as important. I mean, when you're a single parent, right, and you get into a relationship with either someone else or another single parent, you're not just getting with your partner. You're getting your partner and their kid. So it's really important in a relationship between two parents that you also bond with the other person's kid. And I mean, Winta has never had a dad in her life. Her dad died on Alderaan before she was born, and Omera, of course, has told Winta about her dad, but to Winta, Cylon is this really sort of nebulous figure, you know? There isn't a whole lot for her to attach to, but Din is concrete in her life, and Din kind of serves that father role that she's never actually kind of had in her life, and she attaches to him really closely because of that. So, originally this one-shot was going to follow Din and Winta on their hunt, and Winta was originally going to make the kill. But as I started writing the section where Din is showing Winta how to properly handle a gun, which, by the way, another insertion of my own experience taking a basic firearms self-defense class, really cool, by the way, I realized that Winta, even though she would be really eager to learn at the start, once she got into it, once it got into her hands, she would start remembering the events of In the Aftermath, and that trauma would resurface and kind of take over whatever curiosity or eagerness was there initially. And Din knows that trauma all too well from his own life experience. That's why he sort of flashes back to where his own dad was doing much the same thing with him, you know, educating him about blasters, gun safety, kitting him up for training, that kind of thing. So that's why he's so easily empathetic towards Winta and how he so effectively brings her back down. And that leads to the ending. That idea, again, of Winta calling Din dad or daddy, whether on purpose or by accident, has always kind of kicked around in the back of my mind. But in this one shot, I found a perfect opportunity for that to come to fruition. Din's promise to Winta that he would always protect her kind of sealed that deal in her head, you know, and confirmed for Winta that he is not going anywhere. And that's sort of why she had hesitated to call him dad before. But you guys all really seem to like that. Lexus commented, I started reading In the Aftermath the other day, and to say I love it is an understatement. Thank you so much. So glad to have you. This chapter right here, though, I just can't. Every time Winta is referred to as his daughter, I die. But when she called him daddy, you actually killed me, and I'm okay with it. This was a beautiful chapter, as they all are. I can't wait for more. Thank you so much, Lexus, and welcome to the party. I hope you come back to life in time for the next update, because I would love to see you again, because I'm just so glad that you enjoyed it. So, I think that about does it for this week's midweek roundup. This week's short is called Braids, and it's definitely a Din and Omera, much more romantic chapter, so look forward to that. Thank you so much for joining me today and for reading my work. It is a pleasure and a joy as always. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to ask them on AO3, Tumblr, or my Twitter, all of which will be linked in the description. Thank you again, and I'll see you Saturday at 4 p.m. Keep fighting the good fight. Bye!